The Get On Living Safely campaign is sponsoring this podcast to remind you to keep your spending in the community. Supporting local businesses keeps food on the table for our friends and neighbors. Follow them on social media and learn more at getonlivingsafely.com. On this episode, we talk with entrepreneur Gus Fimple of Aris Global Imports. We talk about Greek wine and grapes, his avenue into importing, the idea for the business, his thoughts on Greek craftsmanship, and what's next for the business. You can find more conversations on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
My name is Gus Fimple. I live here in La Crosse. I was born in Los Angeles, California. And I got into importing basically on a suggestion from a friend who just got back from Greece and said, "Hey, you don't happen to know anybody who imports, do you?" And I was like, well, shoot, how hard can it be? So turns out it was very difficult. Paperwork alone accounts for about half of this gray hair right here. But we got it through, and all the FDA and ATF and all those alphabet soup type agencies to get us licensed to sell. Now I'm only licensed to sell in the state of Wisconsin right now, but we're working on getting into other states. So everything we sell alcohol-wise is exclusive to Wisconsin.
How did the business name come about? With the idea of just going specifically just products from Greece? Is that the plan?
I'm actually talking to a few places in South America right now for coffee. We're not exclusively limited to Greek products, but kind of a nod to the first winery we work with out of Greece. Technically, it's pronounced Aris. We do sort of the Americanized Aris. It's another form of the word Ares, like the god of war, which kind of seems weird doing all these nice partnerships with, mom and pop stores and a nice little family winery that we named it after the god of war. But we more or less going with the kind of the ethos of taking things head on, going and getting it done is kind of the reason we went with that. Plus the winery we work with right now in Greece is from northern Greece, near Thessaloniki, which is the second largest city after Athens. And they're one of the local soccer clubs there in town is Aris FC. So kind of a nod to the local, soccer club over there. Kind of a fun way to acknowledge the Greek side of stuff and have it a little bit meaningful.
I've been to Greece a few times, predominantly just on the islands in Corfu and things like that. When I think of Greece, I think of, the olives and just fresh food, fresh seafood. And I did notice a lot of olive trees and things like that. In terms of the wine, I also just researched, I wish I would have known this before, but just looking into you, there's like varieties of grapes that don't even exist anywhere else pretty much on Greece, correct?
Pretty much. One of the varieties we carry is called Malagusia. And they at one time thought it was extinct. It was kind of lost to the ages. One of the stories I like to tell my clients is about that grape. Some archaeologist, a few decades back, found a jar full of grape seeds, and they ended up growing it and figured out it was this long lost grape variety. Pretty prevalent now in the country, but at the time it was really, really kind of groundbreaking. And if you ever try it, it's so good. It's a really crisp. It's a white wine. Kind of like a nice crisp pear. It's unlike anything I've ever had. Northern Greece is Macedonia from way back when. I don't know if it's true or not, but I kind of fudge it and say, this is probably the grape that fueled Alexander when he was taking over the world. So imagine what it could do for you. You got to tell a story.
Oh, absolutely. Just looking at also to Greek wine, there seems to be a real sense of proud craftsmanship component behind it when talking about products from Greece. Is that just built into the culture there? There seems to be not necessarily like an attitude about it, but just like a real proud sort of.
Absolutely. And I'm not Greek. I've visited Greece. I've been to different areas back when I was in the service. If you talk to somebody from Greece, basically everything Western civilization has ever done or had owes it to the Greeks. And they'll let you know about it, which, rightfully so in a lot of cases. They pretty much believe that, winemaking came from that area of the Mediterranean. I got two friends, one guy from Greece and one guy from Lebanon, and they like to argue over who's got the best. You probably know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
they like to argue about who has the more impact on culture. For me, it's all good. The product speaks for itself, but the Greeks really do have this pride in the things they produce, just because they've been doing it for so long. It's rooted in their culture. Every little piece, they name their cities after the stuff they produce. When you're talking about a winemaker, the guys I'm working with this winery have been there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years in the same family. And then you go back to the people that owned it prior to that and prior to that. I mean, we're talking ages rather than just years.
So how's the business been affected by COVID? Has that been a struggle with you starting this business?
Well, our initial, business plan was to sell to restaurants and retail outlets, but the majority hanging on restaurants, because let's face it, it's an imported luxury good. And the prices aren't like I'm not disparaging any small local wineries or stuff from California or anything here, but you're paying a little bit more of a premium to import it from across the ocean. The plan was, you sell to a restaurant, they can, corking fees or whatever, their margins are incredibly huge when they're selling it by the glass. So in that respect, we did get, dinged a little bit, but it turns out people like sitting at home and drinking when they can't go out and do anything else. So it's kind of a good time to be in the alcohol business. And then now it's just getting the word out that we've got a really good product. So as far as that goes, retail sales have just been off the charts, no matter what you're selling alcohol-wise. To answer your question, it's been okay.
So where can you get your products locally?
Locally, we are in Woodman's here in Alaska. We have 8 different labels, and all 8 of them are there. We are also in the Altoona Woodman's, and we're about to expand into a few others. We're also downtown at Christos Taverna, and now it's called the Eudora. It used to be called that foreign place. Around the corner there at Sula's Kusina, the Greek restaurant, that was a really nice fit. And then over David Ray's in Alaska, they've got a couple of our whites down at Four Sisters Tapas, downtown La Crosse here. They've got one of our red blends that's really nice. If you're a fan of dry reds, that's the place to go to get that one. And we're talking to a few other places, but you don't want to put the cart before the horse. But we're hoping to get into a few more places in Eau Claire, and then on to head south a little bit, go Madison, Milwaukee area. It's in the business plan. We'll see.
What's the best spot for people to follow along with Aris Global Imports?
Facebook, Instagram, the website. Actually, I just finished redesigning the website, but it's www.arisglobalimports.com. Part of the problem we're running into with Greek wine is people think that just because it's Greek, it's some sort of weird, strange variety. No, I mean, we've got Malagusia, which is native to Greece, but we also have a really nice Merlot. We have a really nice Chardonnay, Sauv Blanc. Names you're familiar with, they're just grown in different areas. And with wine drinkers, they're always looking for a variety. With some sort of, the different growing conditions in Greece that you're going to get with Italy on a nice Sauv Blanc, the soil is different. You get different flavor profiles. And that's why we're doing this is, expose people to different varieties of the same variety. Maybe I should write that down.
That sounds great, actually. Different varieties of the same variety. I think that's perfect.
Yeah. More to my point is the food pairings, not just because it's Greek wine. I love one of my reds. I love making homemade guacamole and having a nice red with it, or a nice Sauv Blanc with a fish dinner. It doesn't have to be, all Mediterranean all the time. Now, it does pair nicely with a good gyro. You go downtown and get a good gyro, or souvlaki or something like that. That's one of the great things about wine is it opens itself up and accepts everybody.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Locals. Subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.